Why do people lie in relationships? Usually it boils down to their ego, as with everything, one might say. It's because they believe the lies of their ego, telling them that the person they are with will not be satisfied with who they really are. And so the person who believes that will create a fake personality, will create a fake persona, if you will, thinking that the persona that they create is much more attractive than who they really are. And it is a very slippery slope to do that in a relationship, because if at first the person you are in a relationship with doesn't see it, eventually they will. Because when you are not yourself, you lack authenticity. Goes without saying, but bears saying. And in authenticity, whether you like it or not, one day or another is brought to light. No one can keep up appearances forever. Of course, with every rule there is an exception, and so I am sure that out there is a person who's managed to keep up appearances and live a fake life till the day they died, but I do believe that these people are few and far between. So I will stay with generality here. It's at least it's my experience that every single time someone has tried to present themselves to me under a fake persona, wearing the mask and the ego and the costumes that their ego made them wear, one day or another I saw through them. One day or another their mask fell off, you know? And oftentimes the personality that they truly are, if they hadn't chosen to lie to me right from the start, could have been actually very attractive to me. But since they decided to go the lying route, they decided to, because they believed their ego, that they were not enough, that I wouldn't be charmed or wouldn't be interested in who they really are. They decided to put up this mask, this ego, this fake persona. Since they did that right from the start, it means that right from the start they were dishonest with me, and I have no time for dishonesty in my life. I do not say that coming from a holier-than-thou attitude. I say that coming from a self-respect and unconditional love for myself attitude or stance, or whatever the case may be. I do not think that when you allow people to lie to you, you, provided that you know they are lying, are doing any kind of service to yourself. Small lies will lead to big lies. Lying right from the start in any kind of relationship is for you, or at least should I say, should be for you, the cue to cut that relationship off from your life. And so the reason why people lie in relationships, it's because they, as I said, listen to their ego, telling them that they were not enough. And some people might say, well, they did that because they were scared that you wouldn't love them. Don't you have compassion for them? No, I don't. I don't. Having compassion should always come from a place of unconditional love. Life, everything you say, think, do in life should always come from a place of unconditional love. Unconditional love for others, but especially unconditional love for yourself. And when you tolerate a liar, you do not act out of unconditional love for yourself. Some people might think that you are acting out of unconditional love for them because you might, or at least your ego might fool you into believing that, yes, you know they are lying, but they have such low self-esteem and they think that they will not amount to anything and that the real them will not be attractive to you. Please have a little compassion. They haven't learned to love themselves yet. Well, that wouldn't be compassion in my book, because as I said, even if you acted out of unconditional love for them, meaning that, well, you know they lied, but you still love them anyway, you wouldn't be acting out of unconditional love for yourself. Because to allow anyone to lie to you means that you think you deserve to be lied to. And so you will create more people, circumstances, and events that will throw lies at you. Now, to go back to the example I said, acting out of unconditional love for a liar because they have such low self-esteem is in actuality not unconditional love for them. Because when you allow people to do something that is obviously rooted in anything but unconditional love, in that case, lying, you're not doing them any service. You're telling them that what they are doing, which is not done out of unconditional love, can be done, and again and again and again and again. You know, it's a little bit like telling a drug addict that they should keep on using drugs, because if they should stop, they might die. Yes, but at the beginning, using drugs was not done out of unconditional love. So letting people getting away with something that is not done out of unconditional love is not unconditional love. So when someone lies to you in a relationship, by the way, whatever kind of relationship it is, it's the same. Whether it's within your family, whether it's with your friends, whether it is in a platonic or romantic relationship, whatever the case may be. They do it because deep down inside, whether consciously or unconsciously, they believe their ego that told them that they were not enough. And in order for them to know that they are indeed enough, they have to go within. And as I said many times in my videos, it is not your job to put people on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey. You can only lead by example. In that case, if I go back to the example I used, if you choose to cut off this or that relationship because this or that person lied to you, and you choose to explain it to them before cutting them off of your life, that might make them understand that lying was not the solution, that they were misled by their ego, and that they should rethink their relationship with their ego. And that is usually what will lead you to taking the first step on your spiritual journey, is doubting your ego. Is my ego really there for me, or is it a master and I'm actually the slave to it? But it is not your job, especially if you don't want to take them by the hand and make them take their first step towards spiritual awakening, aka take their first step on a spiritual journey. So while I do understand why the people that lied to me in my life did so, I also know that the best thing I could do for them to understand that what they did was not done out of unconditional love. For me, but also and especially for themselves, the best thing I could ever done, and I did, was to cut them off. And I'm sure, even though I have no contact with these people anymore, but I'm sure that I'm going to be optimistic and say half of them understood and the other half did not. But that is on them. And again, we have this incarnation to embark upon a spiritual journey towards spiritual awakening. And should we not do it this time around, we have countless and countless other incarnations to try and do it again. So if they do not understand that lying to me was not in my best interest and not in their best interest, then maybe they will understand it in, another incarnation. At the end of the day, it is not my business. It is not my job. As I said before countless times in my videos, spiritual awakening, embarking upon a spiritual journey towards spiritual awakening should be your own choice, because you have free will in this incarnation. It is your choice to do so. It is your choice to start doubting everything and everyone. Everything that you learned. Everything that you were socialized into. Every time your ego's little voice makes you do, say, or think something that is not done out of unconditional love, doubt it. Your compass should be unconditional love. Every single time. For others and for yourself. So when you lie to someone, you not only do absolutely no service to yourself, but in a way you also insult, show disrespect to the person you are lying to, because you think that they will believe you. You think that they will be dumb enough to believe your lies. And that is not unconditional love. I don't need to explain that, why it's not unconditional love. I think it's self-explanatory. So that is why people lie to their partners in relationships. It is because they are still a slave to their ego, and they believe their ego's lying voice, that they are not enough. But that does not disculpate them. That does not excuse them for lying to you. And if you respect yourself enough, you will tolerate no lies in your life, as I do in mine.